Mike, check. Justin Hunt, it's all happening. Thank you to everybody for rocking with the channel. Thank you to everybody who has spread the good word, sharing the link, sharing the video. It's really appreciated. Big thank you to everyone who has donated to this channel. If you'd like to donate, you can donate through the Cash App up there. Or there's a link to the link tree. That's another way to donate. Big thank you to Message Wellness Spa. Thank you for your donation. It's greatly appreciated. And big shout out to my new members. We crossed 200 members. Our newest members, Miss One, KP Lovely, James Wyatt. 9-second applause. Thank you. All right, I always have fun with that. I can't front, I do. Big stories today. Now, I would say the hip-hop world, but I think the world in general has been anticipating a press conference today regarding Sean Combs' civil SA allegations. Okay, so there was a major press conference. The press conference was put on by Tony Busby, and he talked about the allegations against Puff Daddy, Sean Puffy Combs, on the civil side. So this is separate from the federal investigation that he is currently fighting, the RICO charges. This is the civil cases. Now, there's a couple of clips here. I watched the full press conference today, and it's long, detailed. I think it was very well done. I watched it over on Abso-fucking-Lutely's YouTube channel, The Strategist. And I mean, it's really jarring, a lot of things that are coming out that are alleged. These things are all alleged. But let's take a look at a couple of clips of Tony Busby's press conference today.
The biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world. The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward. Our team has had, at this point, more than 3,285 individuals contact us.
3,285 individuals contacted Tony Busby with allegations against Sean Diddy Combs. That's crazy. I mean, I guess we're talking about 30 years plus of allegations, but 3,000. Keep that in mind.
With people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs.
120 people. So you had 3,200 some odd people call. They vetted them all. That's crazy. I mean, that's got to be I don't even know what the supply chain looks like that inside of a law firm, vetting all those people. And so they're down to 120 people making claims against Combs and others.
As well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases. And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also intend to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI. And you should also know a few of them have already been spoken to by the FBI. Now, before we discuss the nature of the claims and claimants themselves, let me comment on the large volume of calls we have received since our first announcement. Even before the indictment of Sean Combs, we had received a small volume of calls and had screened a handful of cases. After the indictment of Sean Combs and the announcement that we were pursuing these claims, the floodgates opened. People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Your high-profile case from a wealthy individual, wide-ranging allegations spanning 30 years. I'm sure there's a lot of phone calls. A lot of people came in. When you're challenging people in power, timing is everything, and there's also a lot of fear connected to throwing rocks at the throne, for lack of a better metaphor.
But no, most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities. They fear backlash in their own families. They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed.
Many powerful people, many dirty secrets. Suge Knight suggested that the other day. He said that he expected Puff Daddy to expose people. There was an interesting video on, I want to say TikTok. There was a TikTok video of a lawyer talking about all the recordings that were taken at Diddy's house. And, you know, he was secretly recording a lot of these events, allegedly. And people were worried about what was caught on the video. And so I think a lot of initial public sentiment was that Diddy had evidence on other people. But now that they're presumably in the hands of the authorities, now the authorities have leverage against Diddy because they can see who's in these videos. So now this is messy. This is tragic. For all the victims, it's tragic. And truthfully, it feels like a tragic situation, a crazy wall of allegations that Diddy has to fight and his lawyers have to figure out the best way to navigate through all of this. But many powerful people will be exposed.
We know what we are potentially up against. And as is always the case in situations like this, when a celebrity is involved, people can be downright mean and nasty. You would be shocked at the length fans will go, no matter the evidence to the contrary, to defend celebrities they love. I mean, there's a reason for this word fans. They're fanatics. I've personally already been threatened multiple times on social media. And when I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much. This isn't my first rodeo. But victims who step forward to have their voices heard should not be subjected to that kind of conduct. They should not be targeted. I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it. Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with a mindset that I believe victims. I believe victims because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward. So if you're watching this, please hear me. If you're out there and you have been victimized, you are not alone.
Yeah, that's the first clip. There's another one here that carries on to the next, another part of this press conference here. But key takeaways from that first one, 120 victims that this law firm is representing, the Busby law firm. I believe they're based out of Houston, Texas. They'll be working in conjunction with law firms in Los Angeles, New York, and I believe Georgia. Most of these allegations took place in either Georgia, New York, or Los Angeles. Tony Busby is going to get into the makeup of this population of these 120 accusers. So let's see what he says.
The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack. We know what we're up against. We did not enter this fray blindly. I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive. But it is what it is, so we will press on. As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females.
60 males, 60 females, evenly divided.
Who have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder Hispanic or Asian.
60% black, 30% white, the rest Hispanic or Asian.
The victims are from more than 25 states, Majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida.
All Diddy strongholds. Maybe there's a better way to say that. All places where Diddy's reputation is very loud. LA, New York, Miami, and Atlanta.
I want to focus on the ages of these victims. When you talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old.
9 years old. 9 years old. Disgusting.
We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15.
9, 14, and 15. Wow.
25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of.
25 were minors. There's 120. 25 of them were minors at the time of the alleged assault.
The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. Now,
so he said most were victimized after 2015. That, in a way, lines up with what I don't want to say lines up, but we just covered a story where Torre did an investigation talking about how Diddy has been so addicted to drugs over the past 15 years that there was nothing but a vapid darkness in his eyes. And so, you know, that gives you about, what, to 2010, 2009 or so. And if that is the case, if that is true, that Diddy has been super addicted to drugs, and if it's true that Tony Busby's, most of the victims he's representing, or most of the alleged victims he's representing, if most of those assaults took place after 2015, those two stories fall in line with each other.
when you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago, and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward. I want to remind you that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward and to make these types of allegations when something very terrible has happened to them. I'll use New York, the state of New York, as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought, that revive such claims, and they can be brought even 25 to 30 years later. Because there's a recognition there in New York and California and other states that it's very difficult for a victim to come forward. And I would respectfully suggest the only reason many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims coming forward. And it gives them some comfort that, hey, I won't be the only one. And I expect more victims will come forward.
Wow. So that's the update from the press conference today. Tony Busby Law Firm, they're the one who's representing 120 alleged victims. 25 of them were minors, allegedly, when the assaults happened. Victims as young as 9, 14, and 15, which is disgusting and crazy. And from a distribution standpoint, 60 men and 60 women. TMZ ran a story that had a little bit more detail in some of these things. I'll go through it pretty quick. Attorney Tony Busby says a wave of lawsuits will be filed against Diddy in the next 30 days, including from an accuser who claims he was only 9 years old when Diddy and others SA'd him at the Bad Boys Record Studios in New York City. Busby claims Diddy lured a 9-year-old to an audition with the promise of a record deal and then allegedly abused him. In addition, Busby claims his law firm will be filing suit on behalf of the accusers who claim they were minors when Diddy abused them, including another who says Diddy forced them to perform oral. Busby says another accuser was 15 years old when they were flown out to New York City to attend a party where they were drugged and taken into a private room with Diddy, where he allegedly arred her before others took turns having their way with her. A big-time attorney who has sued a bunch of celebrities, including Travis Scott and Chris Brown, Busby claims his clients were arred, SA'd, and exploited by Diddy and his associates. And he says they were typically forced to consume a drink that was laced with xylazine or trank, a horse tranquilizer. As we reported, Busby's law firm announced Friday they were repping more than 50 alleged victims who came forward with gut-wrenching stories about what went down at Diddy's alleged freak-off parties. Busby described the mind-boggling allegations as debauchery and depravity exacted by powerful people, and now he says there are 120 accusers who will be filing individual lawsuits against Diddy and others. That's another big point. 120 individual lawsuits. So this isn't a class action. This isn't a lawyer representing a group of people. For example, like if there's a recall on your car and there's something that happens, there's a class action suit. These are 120 individual cases. It sounds like a massive issue. Busby strongly hinted other celebrities would be named in the lawsuits, and he said he would be suing anyone who was involved or knew about the alleged abuse and refused to put an end to things. That's a wide net. That is a wide net. Anybody who was around Diddy who knew about these things is in their crosshairs. Busby said the alleged abuse happened in well-known venues and hotels as well as private residences, mostly in Los Angeles and New York. And he said the lawsuits will include names that will shock you. It should be noted Busby has not yet filed a single case in any jurisdiction. So we're still waiting for the actual filings to take a look at those. Now, there is an update. TMZ has an update from Diddy's legal team. There have been reports over the past couple of days that Diddy is beefing up his defense team. He's gotten people with incredible reputations to join his team because I think he needs it. Here's what Erica Wolf told TMZ in response to this press conference. As Mr. Combs' legal team has emphasized, he cannot address every meritless allegation in what has become a reckless media circus. That said, Mr. Combs emphatically and categorically denies as false and defamatory any claim that he SA'd anyone, including minors. He looks forward to proving his innocence and vindicating himself in court, where the truth will be established based on evidence, not speculation. So that's the update from Diddy's attorneys following today's press conference. I mean, this is staggering. These are staggering allegations. None of these suits have been filed yet, so I'm sure once they're filed, people will be peering through them to see the details of this, of these 120 different alleged victims. It seems like there's equal opportunity assault going on. 60 men, 60 women, 60 black people, 60% black people, 30% white people, Asians and Latinos. And it really sounds like the mark of, the past 30 years of can't stop, won't stop, sadly. We'll see how all this plays out. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. My name is Justin Hunt. Like, subscribe to the channel. Follow @TheCompanyMan on everything. It's all happening.
Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. The mathematical breakdown of this mighty game of rap we in. It's boom happening. Systematical culture views us radical, it's all happening. Shaking hands and dabbing them. Life through the lens of hip hop, from trip hop to yes, y'all, you don't stop, you don't stop. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening.